as the University of St. Francis Fighting Saints take on Madonna University in today's baseball matchup. Day 2 of this series after the two teams split a doubleheader yesterday. This game has begun, and it started out with a single for Madonna as they've got a man at first base and nobody out here in the top of the first inning. Parker, the batter for Madonna. He swings and grounds one over to the shortstop. Scooped up by the sliding Dustin Kropp. He flips to second for one. The relay throw from Peterson over the head of first baseman Anthony Farron, and it ricochets off the facing in front of the dugout. That'll keep the runner Parker at first base. It is a force out, 6-4 on the fielder's choice. And there is a man at first base now with one out. Saints took the opener of yesterday's twin bill in drier conditions. Rain-splattered Slammers Stadium today is the site for day 2 of this matchup. Madonna took the second game. The bats came out as they put 12 runs on the board. Frankie Luska is the batter right now for Madonna. He takes ball 1 up and away. Luska, left-handed hitting first baseman, hitting in the 3 spot today. The right-handed starter for the University of St. Francis is the sophomore Angel Sandoval out of St. Louis High School. He gets a swing and a miss. One strike on Luska. Parker, the runner at first base, with one out in the top of the first inning. Saints are in their brown uniform tops with their home white pants, brown caps. Madonna in blue tops, blue hats. They wear gray pants as the visiting team today. Runner at first base takes his lead. Sandoval takes a look over him, over his left shoulder, and now sets for the next pitch to Luska. Check swing and a ball inside. Count is 2-1. Thomas on deck for Madonna. That's the left fielder, Jalen Thomas. Madonna comes in as one of the top 30 or so teams in the country, receiving votes in the most recent poll. Not quite in the top 25, the preseason poll. There's a swing and a high fly out to left field. Sean Harper moves over towards the line into foul territory, and 1 foot over the line he makes the catch for the second out of the top of the first inning. And that brings up Jalen Thomas. No score. We're just underway here in the top of the first inning. Game began with a leadoff single from Joey Piwan. He was forced out 6-4 on a ground ball hit by Parker. Parker is the runner at first right now with Jalen Thomas getting his first at bat. Right-handed hitting left fielder awaits the first offering from Angel Sandoval. Doesn't come quite yet as Sandoval turns and fires to first base instead. Parker easily back to first base following the pickoff move. Righty versus righty. Sandoval sets for the first offering. This time to the plate. Fires a strike over the outside corner. The count is 0-1 on Jalen Thomas. If Thomas should reach and keep this inning alive, Alex Nicholson would bat next. Designated hitter in the on-deck circle. Sandoval throws over to first base again, keeping a close eye on Parker over at first base. Again, it's game 3 of this, what will ultimately turn out to be a 3-game series. They played a doubleheader yesterday. They were set to play another twin bill today at noon, but the weather had other plans. There's a high fly out to shallow right field. Travis Schoonover comes towards the line, and that ball drops foul for strike 2. 0-2 on Thomas. Runner at first base after the leadoff single. The doubleheader was changed to just a single 9-inning game today. So that's what we're set for at the moment. Starting a little bit later than originally planned, although a little bit earlier than most recently planned. Instead of a 2 o'clock start time, we got underway at about 1:51 p.m. Central Time here in Joliet. 2 strikes on Thomas. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Sandoval gets rid of him and ends the top half of the first inning. He pitches around the leadoff single. We'll head to the bottom of the frame. No score. Bottom half of the first inning, and Dolan Nicholson, the center fielder, set to lead things off for the Fighting Saints of St. Francis. Madonna got a leadoff base runner in the top of the first, didn't score as Nicholson bunts it in front of home plate. It trickles foul to the left side for strike 1. Crusaders did not get a man beyond first base. And so now the Saints try to strike first in this game here in the bottom of the first inning. Yeah, it's Nicholson leading off. He'll be followed by the shortstop, Dustin Krob, and then the right fielder, Travis Schoonover. A swing by Nicholson and a ground ball foul past third base. The count is 0-2. Saints picked up their first victory of the season yesterday in Game 1 against Madonna. Crusaders today looking for their 8th victory of the year. They've had a little bit more luck in terms of the early schedule getting games in. This is their 13th game of the season. Ball inside. It's 1-2. I don't know that anybody would look outside today and suggest that either of these two teams has been lucky as far as the weather goes, but for Madonna, they've had some more success in playing their full contests as opposed to St. Francis. They've had some trouble with the early schedules. There's a ground ball up the middle and through for a base hit. Dolan Nicholson is aboard with a leadoff single. Bottom of the first starts much as the top of the first did. A single straight up the middle. And that'll bring up the number 2 batter, Dustin Krob. Right-handed hitting shortstop. We'll try to get the runner over. Nicholson has got good speed over at first base. He takes a few steps into his lead. Pitcher Gore sets and misses down low for ball 1. Starting pitcher for the Crusaders today is Daniel Gore, a junior from Tecumseh, Ontario. Gave up the leadoff single to Nicholson, trying to pick up his first out of the inning as he tosses over to first base. Like Angel Sandoval in the top of the first inning, Gore keeping a close eye on the runner aboard after that leadoff single. No count yet on Krob, who digs in. Gore sets for the first pitch, but doesn't make it. He throws to first base instead. It's a chilly day here in Joliet. Temperatures in the low 40s. Probably feels a little bit colder out there because of how wet it is. Doesn't look like it's raining at the moment, but it has been for pretty much the entire day. Another throw to first base, and again the runner back in safely. The rain has been steady at times. It's been drizzling for the last couple of hours. There's a grounder to third base. It's a foul ball. And there's strike 1. Dolan Nicholson was on the move on that pitch. He'll have to return to first base following the foul baseball down the third base line. Nicholson back at first. Gore with the baseball in his hand as he stands atop the mound and stares in at his catcher getting the sign. Krob digs back in, standing towards the back end of the batter's box. Righty versus righty. Gore sets and delivers. Nicholson not running this time. The pitch misses outside for a ball, and the count is 1-1. Gore right back to the rubber, not wasting any time here. He throws over to first base once again. He's thrown more balls over to first base ever since Nicholson reached than he has to the plate. So very concerned, clearly, with the speed of Dolan Nicholson. We saw Nicholson try to bunt his way on early in his at-bat. There's a called strike. It's 1-2. And not only did we see Nicholson try to bunt his way on, but we've also seen him attempt to steal second base, had to return to first after a foul ball. Another throw sends him diving back to the bag here. But he's shown in the early going his interest in running, even though he hasn't technically had a chance to showcase his speed. Ball low and outside. That evens up the count at 2-2. Schoonover waits on deck. Power hitting outfielder, hoping to bat with a couple of men on base. He's got a chance here. Still a pitcher's count. 2 strikes on the St. Francis shortstop. Nicholson with a shorter lead now. He's running, but time is called before the pitch. Pitch would have missed low and away, although time was called just before Gore was able to throw that one. Really taking a lot of time in a set position with the speedy runner at first base. So finally Krob got sick of it, threw up his hand, and the umpire granted that time. Throw to first base, and once again Nicholson back in. Gore's going to tire himself out just throwing to first base. Nicholson was taking a bigger lead earlier in the at-bat, but with all the throws over there, Gore seems to have at least partially done his intention, which is to keep him close to the bag. He's shortened up the lead a little bit. Justin Mattson is the man behind the plate for Madonna. Let's see what kind of arm he has. There's a swing and a miss for strike 3, and there is that arm as he throws down to first base. Nicholson back to the bag ahead of the tag. Krob is out number 1, and the batter now Travis Schoonover. Following the leadoff single, we get a strikeout, a long battle between pitcher and hitter there, and only 5 pitches thrown. But there were at least that many throws over to first base, and then even after the swing and a miss for strike 3, Mattson wanted to check on Nicholson over at first. The catcher threw behind the runner. Travis Schoonover's hit in the foot by the first pitch from Gore, and he takes first base. So Nicholson moves into scoring position. He's at second. Schoonover at first following the hit by pitch. 2 on with only 1 out for the first baseman, Anthony Farron. Farron, wearing number 18 for the Fighting Saints, steps into the right-handed box with a chance to pick up some RBIs here and get the scoring started in this game. Gore steps off the rubber before the first pitch to Farron. Daniel Gore, 6 feet 6 inches tall, 200 pounds. The lanky right-hander delivers a strike over the outside edge of the plate to Anthony Farron. Kevin Rada stands on deck for the Saints. Again, 2 men on base here with only 1 down. A single and a hit by pitch. Farron fouls it back. It's 0-2. They've set themselves up in good position to get at least 1 run early on in this ball game and give some support to Angel Sandoval, who looked sharp in the first inning. Gave up the leadoff single, but nothing more after that. Righty versus righty. Here comes the 0-2. Not yet. Time called by Farron. So even with Nicholson now at second base rather than first, Daniel Gore still more concerned about the runner than he is the batter. Taking a good long look back at second before electing to come towards the plate. And Farron had seen enough time taken. Now Gore's ready to go, and this time to the plate. Farron lines it to left field. That's a base hit. Nicholson is being held up at the last second at third base. And they're loaded. 2 singles, a hit by pitch, 1 out, 3 on for Kevin Rada. Nice piece of hitting there for Anthony Farron. And the Saints are in good shape here in the bottom of the first inning. Kind of a slow-moving day because of the weather. Guys aren't moving quite as fast. The ball's not moving fast because the artificial turf here at Slammer Stadium is soaked. Yeah, it's a pretty slow-moving field to begin with. And looks like the Saints are going to get a run here. A balk is called against Daniel Gore. And Dolan Nicholson gets to come across the plate, making it 1-0 St. Francis. So with the bases loaded, the balk call gets our scoring started. Now they're at second and third. That takes the force out. Swinging a looping liner into center field. That drops in for a base hit, just out of the reach of the shortstop. A run scores. Farron holds at second base. He was worried that ball might get caught, and so did not advance at all. But Schoonover does come in from third base on Kevin Rada's RBI single. And our score is now 2-0 St. Francis. And a courtesy runner over at first base for the catcher Rada. Noah Carrero comes in. First and second, only 1 down. Hot start offensively for the Fighting Saints against Daniel Gore, who seems a little distracted after Dolan Nicholson picked up that leadoff single. Gore seemed to forget about the hitters, focusing almost entirely on the base runners. It's really cost him. A lot of mistakes made by the pitcher. He hit Schoonover. The balk allowed the first run to score. Meeting on the mound right now with the head coach of Madonna, trying to settle down his junior starter, Daniel Gore. 2-0 St. Francis leads in the bottom of the first inning. 1 out. That was the Dustin Krob strikeout, but Nicholson singled. Schoonover was hit by a pitch. Farron singled. A balk scored the first run. And then an RBI single from Kevin Rada has put us in the situation we're in right now, as the Saints try to keep pouring it on. They bring up their designated hitter, getting his first at bat of the day, Josh Tesh, junior out of Plainfield Central High School. Trying to bring home at least 1 more run. He could do so potentially with a single. First pitch to Tesh. It's taken across the knees for strike 1. Sean Harper is in the on-deck circle. 2 on, 1 out. Gore sets and deals. Ball taken outside. Count is 1-1. Here comes the third pitch of the at-bat from Gore. Misses low and inside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Josh Tesh, the 6th hitter of the inning. Sean Harper, the left fielder, is due up next. John Peterson, second baseman, hits in the number 8 hole, and then it's the third baseman, Jonathan Wolf, as the ground ball to shortstop could be 2. A flip to second for 1. The relay throw is in time. It is a double play, and the inning ends. But a good long inning for the St. Francis offense as they score 2 runs on 3 hits. They leave 2. And on our way to the second, our score is 2-0 St. Francis. Start of the second inning here in Joliet. A good start for the Fighting Saints of St. Francis as they lead 2-0. 5, 6, and 7 batters up here in the second for Madonna against Angel Sandoval, who pumps in strike one to start the at-bat against the designated hitter, Alex Nicholson. Next toss to Nicholson. Misses the outside edge. It's 1-1. It's Nicholson, Doki, and Ferguson set to bat this frame for Madonna, who was shut down pretty efficiently in the first inning by Sandoval. Right-hander winds and fires. Misses for ball 2. 2-1. Leadoff single in the first inning was the extent of the Madonna offense. Sandoval then settled in, got 3 straight outs, ground out a flyout and a strikeout. Got Thomas to go down swinging on 3 pitches to end the inning. There's a swing and a miss. And it's 2-2 now on Alex Nicholson. Saints got their runs in the bottom of the first inning on a Kevin Rada RBI single and then a run-scoring balk. 2-2. Misses just high, ball 3. The opening weekend of St. Francis home play here in Joliet these past couple of days. They had the doubleheader against Madonna yesterday, and now this one this afternoon. Ball low and away, and that's ball 4. So Alex Nicholson draws the leadoff walk. Leadoff man has reached base in each of our first 3 half innings. So neither one of these pitchers has gotten used to throwing without a man on base so far. Batter is Jared Doki. Doki is Madonna's third baseman. Right-handed bat with an open stance. He takes ball 1 high. Sandoval has missed the zone on 5 of his first 7 pitches here in the second inning after exhibiting solid control throughout the first. The 1-0 offering swung on and lined sharply out to center field over second base. It's a base hit for Doki. Nicholson advances 90 feet. He stands at second. 2 men on base with nobody out. And Madonna is now threatening to do what St. Francis just did offensively in the last half inning. That's put up a crooked number with a couple of 1-out runs. They had 2 men on base threatening to add to that, but a double play ended the inning as Daniel Gore got the big pitch that he needed. Now it's Ferguson. Shortstop Gordon Ferguson, he's the one who started the double play. That ended the bottom half of last inning. And now he's got a chance to bring home the Crusaders' first run today. 2 on, nobody out. Sandoval looking to get the ground ball off the bat of the number 7 hitter Ferguson. And Ferguson takes a strike over the outside corner. At least some of the Saints are expecting a bunt. Anthony Farron creeping way in at first base. The third baseman the third baseman Jonathan Wolf stands back at his normal depth. Swing and a miss. The count is 0-2 on Ferguson. Big start to this at bat for Angel Sandoval. Now the question is whether or not he can put him away. Reed, the second baseman, is on deck. 2 on, nobody out. The 0-2 pitch from Sandoval after a long look back to second base. Fouled away. Ferguson stays alive. Still 0-2 though. 1 strikeout so far in the game for Angel Sandoval. He got Thomas swinging to put an end to the first inning. Now trying to get the first out of the second inning in that same manner. We'll have to wait at least a moment longer as Ferguson steps out of the box. Now the 0-2. Hard grounder out to center field. Another base hit for Madonna. Alex Nicholson trying to score all the way from second base, and he does slide across the plate safely. An RBI single for Ferguson, Nicholson comes in. Doki stops at second base. It's a 2-1 game. 3 straight base runners open up the second inning for Madonna. A walk and now back-to-back singles as they get their first run. That one came on an 0-2 pitch. In fact, 2 of the first 3 men to reach have done so on 2 strike offerings. Here's Adrian Reed. Reed squares up to bunt, drops down the third base line. Wolf charges, gloves, throws to first in time. Nice play by Wolf, but a solid bunt from Adrian Reed. And there are now 2 men in scoring position as Doki moves on up to third base. Ferguson trails behind him. He's at second, and only 1 out for the catcher, Justin Mattson. Mattson's got a good RBI chance. The runners aboard are Doki and Ferguson. Force is now eliminated at all but first base. Middle infielders stay back for the Fighting Saints. Corner men are about even with the baselines. Sandoval misses outside for ball 1 on Mattson. Count is 1-0. Saints scored twice in the bottom of the first inning. Madonna very quickly threatening to tie that score up. They've already cut the deficit in half. There's a weak roller to the right side. This will score a run as Reardon, I think that Peterson picks it up. Peterson's throw to first is in time for out number 2. Ferguson advances to third base. Doki comes in to score. An RBI for Justin Mattson. We're tied at 2. Softly hit ground ball, but the softer the better in that case for Mattson. With the runner coming in from third base and no force anywhere but first. Peterson didn't have any play other than first base. And so Doki came in without even a thought at making a play in that direction. And now Ferguson stands just 90 feet away from giving Madonna their first lead of the game. Back to the top of the order, and Piwan, who takes the first pitch, checked his swing and did not go around. It's downstairs for ball 1. 2-2, top of the second inning. Joey Piwan in the batter's box. He's 1 for 1. Singled on the second pitch of the game. He shows bunt here, taps it foul, and the count is 1-1. Piwan is 1 for 1. He was ultimately, after that first inning single, erased shortly after on a fielder's choice. But one of 4 base runners the first time through the batting order against Angel Sandoval, so a good start offensively for the Crusaders. With 2 outs and a man at third, the 1-1 pitch. Low and inside. Good block by Kevin Rada, keeping that ball in front of him and not allowing Ferguson to try to score. Count now favors the hitter. 2 balls and 1 strike. Sandoval gets the sign and sets. Ground ball to the shortstop. Scooped up cleanly by Dustin Krob. The throw to first base is in time. The inning ends with 3 straight groundouts, but prior to that, a walk and 2 singles. And that created some early trouble for Angel Sandoval, who sees Madonna score twice. They leave a man at third base. We head to the bottom of the second inning. 2-2 tie. It's the bottom of the order to up for St. Francis in the bottom of the second inning, tied with Madonna, 2 runs apiece. Sean Harper leads things off, squares up to bunt, but pulls the bat back and takes ball 1 inside. Harper, Peterson, and Wolf, the 7, 8, and 9 batters, due up. And then back to the top of the order. If anybody reaches against Daniel Gore, who got off to a very shaky start, but settled in late in the first inning. Harper hits a little tapper to the third base side, picked up by the charging Jared Doki. Doki's throw to first base is in time. Nice stretch on that end by Frankie Luska, who looked for a moment like maybe he was going to be pulled off the bag. He was able to hold it with his toes and save the throw to make it out number 1. Sean Harper is set down, bringing up John Peterson. Peterson is the starting second baseman, hitting for the first time in today's game. A right-hander facing the righty Gore. He takes ball 1 high. Saints got off to a very strong start against Gore. 4 of their first 5 batters reached base. Strike over the outside edge. It's 1-1. They had 3 hits in that first inning. Also a hit by pitch. They ended up getting 2 runs out of all of that. Popped up foul behind home plate and just off to the right side. Out of play, it's 1-2. Empty seating areas today. There are some fans in attendance taking this game in, but not from those freezing cold and soaking wet seats. It has been raining all day. They're standing underneath the overhang right now. Any fans who are here. Peterson flies it into shallow center. Coming on to make the catch is Joey Pewan. 2 down. We've not yet seen a 1-2-3 inning in this game. Daniel Gore is trying to change that fact. Facing Jonathan Wolf. Wolf is playing third base for the Fighting Saints. He tips the first pitch foul for strike 1. Gore has retired the last 4 men. He's gotten 5 outs against those 4 men. He's thrown only 10 pitches in doing it. There's a flare into right field. Coming on towards the line and not able to get there is Stephen Parker. It drops in for a base hit for Wolf. He is aboard with a 2-out single. He didn't hit that ball hard, but he hit it to the right spot in between Parker and the second baseman Adrian Reed. Dropped just in between the 2 of them as Parker seemed to be pulling up at the last second. Possibly afraid to dive because of the presence of the second baseman Reed there. Here's Dolan Nicholson, who's 1 for 1. Singled in the first. He fouls this ball away. Straight back for strike 1. Nicholson ultimately came in to score on a balk called against Gore. That was St. Francis's first run of the day. They led 2-0. Now it's tied 2-2. Gore is set. He delivers. A ball outside. 1-1 with a man at first base and 2 outs. Tie game in the second inning. Dustin Krob waits in the on-deck circle. Ball inside and off the glove of Matson. Advancing to second base is Jonathan Wolf. I don't know what the ruling on that one would be. It looked like Wolf took off quickly as soon as that ball came inside off the glove of Matson. Count is 2-1 on Dolan Nicholson. Ground ball to the shortstop. Should end the inning. Picked up by Gordon Ferguson. His throw to first base is indeed in time. 2-out single is the only offense for the Fighting Saints in the second as Jonathan Wolf is stranded at second base. We'll head to the third. Tied up 2-2. It's the top of the third inning in Joliet, and we've got a 2-2 tie score. St. Francis got on the board first with a couple in the bottom of the first inning. And then in the top of the second, Madonna answered in kind with 2 runs. We'll try to take the lead for the first time with Stephen Parker leading off the third inning against Angel Sandoval. Parker takes strike 1. Parker, the right fielder for Madonna, is 0 for 1 in the game. Grounded into a fielder's choice and was stranded at first base back in the first inning. He'll be followed by Luska and Thomas in the Madonna batting order this inning. He swings through Sandoval's 0-1 offering. The count is 0-2. Sandoval had no problem with the meat of the order in the first inning. It was the bottom half of the lineup that gave him some problems in the second inning. As Parker takes ball 1 low and outside. 3 straight base runners, in fact, 5 through 7 in the batting order. Led to those 2 runs scoring. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Sandoval strikes out Parker. It's his second strikeout of the game. It's his 4th consecutive batter retired. And it brings up Frankie Luska. Sandoval's making his second start of the season. In start number 1, he finished with just 1 punch out. So he's already doubled that number in today's outing. Ball 1 outside on Frankie Luska. Luska did not strike out, but he was retired his first time up. He's 0 for 1 with a fly out to left field. In fact, that fly out just barely drifted into foul territory. He fights this one off the screen to the left side. A foul ball for strike 1, evening up the count. Luska is a junior from Garden City, Michigan. The majority of the Madonna roster is located in the school's home state of Michigan. 1-1. Ground ball, nice grab by the pitcher. Sandoval tosses it overhand over to first base for out number 2. Looked off the bat like Luska might have a single straight up the middle there. But instead, Sandoval was able to get down on it quickly. Didn't even allow it to get past the pitcher's mound. 2 up, 2 down in the third. 5 straight retired. And the batter now is Thomas. Jalen Thomas, the left fielder, struck out with a runner at first base and 2 outs back in the first inning. 0 for 1 in the game. Righty versus righty. The first pitch to Thomas is swung through for strike 1. 2-2 tie. Saints scored 2, then the Crusaders scored 2. First chance to take the lead for Madonna since they tied it up last inning. Ball high, 1-1. If Thomas reaches base, Nicholson bats next. If not, we'll have our first 1-2-3 inning of the game. 1-1. Swung on and missed. Sandoval is 1 strike away from that 1-2-3 frame. Trying to strike out Thomas for the second time today after he went down swinging on 3 pitches in the first. The 1-2. Drilled into center field right at Nicholson, who's there to make the catch to end the inning. Hard hit ball by Thomas, but Dylan Nicholson barely had to move his feet to put the squeeze on that ball. 6 in a row set down by Angel Sandoval. He settled in nicely. We head to the bottom of the third. 2-2. We're tied. 2-2 score in the bottom of the third inning. First pitch from Gore is popped up by Dustin Krob on the infield third base side into foul territory. Playable for the third baseman Doki, who falls to the ground as he makes the catch, but holds on for out number one. Nice play by Doki. One pitch, one out in the bottom of the third inning. Krob now 0 for 2 in the game. And just like his counterpart for St. Francis, Daniel Gore has done a pretty good job settling in here after a very shaky start in which he allowed 2 runs in the first inning. He's retired 5 of the last 6. Strike one over the outside corner on the number 3 batter, Travis Schoonover. Schoonover had seen just one pitch coming in to this at-bat, and it hit him in the foot back in the first. He takes a strike over the inside edge, 0-2. Schoonover ended up coming in to score the second run of the game on Kevin Rada's RBI single. Junior outfielder off to a good start this year at the plate. But he goes down swinging here. So he can't catch up to that one. 2 down. 3-pitch strikeout. Second strikeout of the game for Daniel Gore. I mentioned last inning that Angel Sandoval had 2 strikeouts, which already surpasses his total from his previous start. Daniel Gore struck out 5 his first time out there. And he's got 2 today as well, as Anthony Farron takes ball 1 inside. And the 4 players who have struck out for these 2 teams have all hit between 2nd and 4th in the batting order. Farron foul tips it for a strike. It's 1-1. So they're good hitters. Not necessarily the dregs of the batting order that these pitchers are mowing through. 1-1. And it's a strike over the outside corner. 1-2 now on Anthony Farron, who singled and made it as far as second base back in the first inning. Picked up an assist on that run they scored. First 2 runs, really. Ball outside, 2-2. 2 outs, nobody on. Angel Sandoval had the game's first 1-2-3 inning in the top of the third, and now Gore is trying to match him with a perfect bottom half of the third inning. Time called first by Anthony Farron. 2-2. Farron taps it foul to the left side. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nobody on base with 2 outs in the bottom of the third inning. 2-2 is our score. Into the windup, Gore's next delivery. Grounded weakly to the right side. Charging it is the second baseman, Adrian Reed. He scoops it up, tosses over to first, gets Farron by a step and a half, and ends the third inning. 1-2-3 go the Fighting Saints. Both pitchers mow them down. 2-3-4 in the batting order in the third. And we head on to the fourth, still tied up 2-2. We're 3 innings in, and our score is tied up 2-2. 5, 6, and 7 due up for the Crusaders in the top of the fourth. And the first pitch from Angel Sandoval is a breaker low and away for ball 1. Alex Nicholson, the batter for Madonna. He got the scoring started for the visiting side when he crossed the plate back in the second. He checks his swing, takes a strike over the outside corner, 1-1. Nicholson walked on a 6-pitch plate appearance back in the second inning. Eventually came across on a Ferguson base hit. Swing and a miss here. Count is 1-2. It was a shaky start to the second inning for Angel Sandoval as this exact trio of hitters, Nicholson, Doki, and Ferguson, who are due up this inning. They got to him in the second, walk, single, single, and then an RBI ground out. Made it a 2-run frame for Madonna. Foul tipped off to the left. Still 1-2. Other than that, Sandoval's been very good. He's retired the last 6 men that he's faced ever since that trio came up in the second. Now he's trying to make it 7 in a row. He's 1 strike away from getting Alex Nicholson. Sandoval's delivery, righty to lefty, misses high. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Alex Nicholson just 1 for 8 at the plate so far this season. He has walked a couple of times, though. And here he strikes out swinging. 7 straight retired by Angel Sandoval. There's strikeout number 3 in the afternoon. 1 out in the top of the 4th, and that brings up Jared Doki. Doki is 1 for 1. He smacked a single out to center field back in the second inning, and he later came in to score as part of the 2-run rally. Doki, a .250 hitter, entering this weekend series at St. Francis. First home games of the year for the Fighting Saints, and their last for a couple of weeks. There's a strike over the inside corner on Doki. They won't play here again until March 13th when they begin conference play. Have a few trips to warmer climates between now and then. And hopefully less rainy ones as well. Strike over the outside corner, 0-2. Today's game started about 2 hours late and became a single game as opposed to the previously scheduled doubleheader. Ball downstairs, 1-2 on Doki. Saints will take on Madonna again this year on the road, but not in Michigan, as there's a ground ball down the third baseline, just foul. Just curled to the other side of third base right before it reached the bag. So a foul ball, and the count remains 1-2 on Doki. They'll play Madonna again early next month down in Florida. And the Saints are hoping that once they get down there, things are a little bit smoother as far as their scheduling goes. They haven't been able to get a lot of their early season games in. They had played just 3 prior to yesterday's home opener. Fouled away by Doki. Still 1-2. Those 3 games they played were 2 weeks ago down in Arkansas. All of them losses. And since then, everything has been canceled until yesterday afternoon. Ground ball left side. That's through the hole. It's a base hit for Jared Doki. Second hit of the game for him. It's the 4th hit of the game for Madonna overall. Doki's 2 for 2, and he snaps a string of 7 straight retired by Angel Sandoval. Sandoval took the loss in his first outing this year. It was a relief appearance. Again, that was during that series down in Arkansas a couple of weeks ago. He allowed 4 runs on 3 hits over 2 2/3 innings. He had 5 walks that day. That was his big problem. Today he's been much cleaner as far as his control is concerned. Through 3 1/3 innings, only 1 walk. It's a cold, rainy day, and these ones tend to favor the pitchers a little bit. It's just a swing and a miss. Delayed steal attempt. Throw down to second is in time. And Doki is retired for out number 2. Gordon Ferguson swung through that pitch for strike 1. Not sure if it was designed hit and run, but a late start over at first base from Doki. He is retired on the play. Count is 0-1 on Ferguson with 2 outs now and nobody on base. And Sandoval trying to get out of this inning clean. Ball downstairs, 1-1. Like I said, today's the type of day that favors pitching just because of how cold it is. It's a little bit harder for the offense to get into the rhythm. Ball's not going to go quite as far if they do make contact, but that's all the more incentive for pitchers to get the ball over the plate, throw strikes, and see if the opposition can do anything with it. So far in this game, not too much has gone on offensively for either side as that ball's chopped to the shortstop. Charging it is Krob. The throw to first, just in time. Got Ferguson by half a step, and the inning comes to a close. A one-out single for Doki goes nowhere thanks to the caught stealing. And essentially another 1-2-3 inning for Angel Sandoval. We head to the bottom of the fourth, and our score remains 2-2. Kevin Rada, the catcher, leads off the bottom of the fourth inning for St. Francis. 2-2 our score. First pitch from Daniel Gore comes inside and gets him on the hand. Rada stung a little bit by that one, but good to go as he trots on down to first base. Leadoff man is aboard. It's the second man that Gore has hit today. Both of them have come on the first pitch of the at-bat. Like Angel Sandoval, Gore had some problems with his control in his first start. Went 5 2/3 innings. He walked 4 and hit a batter. Hasn't walked anybody in this one, but that's the second man that he's plunked. First one did come around to score. Let's see if Rada's hit by pitch leads to the same. Runner goes, fouled off to the right side by Josh Tesh for strike one. Rada is not the runner at first base. It's Noah Carraro. He came on as a courtesy runner for the St. Francis starting catcher. Josh Tesh is the hitter, right-handed hitting DH. 0 for 1. He grounded into a 6-4-3 double play to end a first inning rally that had put St. Francis up 2-0. Madonna came back and answered with a pair of runs in the bottom, or should say the top of the next inning. And we've been tied ever since. The 0-1 to Tesh. Long pause atop the mound from Gore, and time call. Daniel Gore takes a lot of time between pitches whenever there's a man on base. We saw it back in the first inning when it was Dolan Nicholson. Very wary of the speed, and really it was probably that more than anything else that led to the run scoring. Gore seemed to lose track of the batters, focusing almost solely on the base runners. Here's his 0-1. Ground ball to the left side hit by Tesh. Nice backhanded stop by Ferguson. Sets himself in the hole. Long throw to first base is in time. Excellent defensive play by Gordon Ferguson. As Tesh grounds out to short for the second time today. This one not a double play. No chance at a double play, as Ferguson had to go far to his right in order to backhand that ball, and made a perfect throw over to first base to get the hitter, but was not able to get the lead runner on the play, which means the Saints have a man in scoring position with only one out for Sean Harper. Harper's 0 for 1. He grounded out to third base his first time up. And now a chance at an RBI with a man in scoring position and one down. Harper takes ball one upstairs from Gore. Two to two, despite 4 early runs. We haven't seen a ton of offense. No hits greater than a single. Haven't seen anybody hit the ball exceptionally hard early on today. Strike called on Harper. The count is even at 1. Both teams have had one good offensive inning through the first 3.5. For the Saints, it was the first. For the Crusaders, the second. Pickoff throw to second base, trickles out to center field. Noah Carraro trying for third. The throw comes in from right, and it's late. An error on Gore, who seems to be hurting himself more than anything with the over-attention he's paying to base runners here. Didn't have anybody covering second base that time, but Gore spun and threw in that direction anyway. The second baseman, Adrian Reed, came over, but he really wasn't standing near the bag as he tried to make that play. So Carraro would easily have been safe at second regardless, but the throw ticked off the glove of Reed and rolled out to right field, allowing Carraro to make it into third on the air. 1-1 on Harper, and he takes the next pitch for ball 2. Harper no longer needs a hit in order to get this run in. No longer can take consolation in advancing the runner. If he's out, the runner's already advanced. He's just trying to get him in. He takes the ball up and in. That nearly hit him. And it's a good hitter's count now of 3 balls and 1 strike. The Saints are trying to reclaim the lead that they once held by as many as 2 runs. Called strike over the outer third. Count is full. Payoff pitch is outside for ball 4. They're at the corners now with only 1 down for John Peterson. First time today that Daniel Gore has walked anybody. But he's put runners at the corners here without giving up a hit. He hit Kevin Rada, and then a throwing error on the pitcher Gore allowed the runner to make it to third base. The walk to Harper puts him at the corners. Swing and a foul tip from John Peterson. With the runner on the move, Harper has to go back to first base. In and out of the glove of Justin Mattson there. After the foul tip from Peterson, if Mattson had hung on to that ball, then Harper still would have been able to steal second base. But because he couldn't make the catch behind home plate, it became a dead ball. So Harper's back to first. The count is 0-1 on Johnny Peterson. And he flies one out to right field down the line. Stephen Parker chases into foul territory in the bullpen, makes a nice sliding catch. Tagging from third base is Noah Carraro. He comes in to score, and it's 3-2 in favor of St. Francis. Good play all around, as Parker made a sliding catch down in the bullpen along the right field line. A huge puddle splashed up as he made that slide. Remember, it has been raining all day here. And he made a great grab to retire Peterson, but it does go as a sacrifice fly as Carraro, the pinch runner, the courtesy runner for Rada, comes in to score. And St. Francis once again is on top. It's 3-2 in the bottom of the 4th inning. And the batter is Jonathan Wolf, who takes strike 1. Wolf is 1 for 1. He reached on a 2-out single back in the 2nd inning. Saints potentially not done with this 4th inning rally. They've still got a man on base with 2 down. Gore trying to get rid of him as he throws over to first base, but Harper dives back to the bag safely. 3-2 Fighting Saints. 0-1 the count on Wolf. Jonathan Wolf takes the ball outside. The count evens up 1-1. Top of the 5th inning, Madonna will send their 8, 9, and 1 batters to the plate against a pitcher who's been hot for the Fighting Saints. Angel Sandoval has been great ever since that hiccup early in the 2nd. Ball low and outside. 2-1 on Wolf. Good speed over at first base. Harper took off on the first pitch after he reached. It was on a hit and run. He's been stationary ever since. As Wolf takes the ball from Daniel Gore, 3-1. Gore was a little wild in his first start of the year. Not so here in the first 3 innings today. But he's had major control problems in this 4th inning, and it's cost him a run, as the Saints have scored without procuring a hit here. Grounded to short, hit by Wolf. Ferguson picks it up, flips it over to second. 6-4 fielder's choice. The inning is over. 1 run, no hits, a walk, a hit batter, no errors, 1 man left. We head to the 5th. St. Francis back on top. It's 3-2. Four innings in the books. The Fighting Saints of St. Francis have a 3-2 lead over Madonna University. Going down from Michigan for this one today. Reed, Matson, and Pawandu up for Madonna, and the first pitch is grounded out to left field for a base hit. Adrian Reed is aboard. Madonna's got a leadoff base runner for the 3rd time in 5 innings today. Reed is 1 for 1. Had a sacrifice bunt his first time up. And now the batter is the catcher Matson, who's 0 for 1, but a very productive 0 for in the 2nd inning. His ground out led to Jared Doki scoring from 3rd base, so he's got an RBI. Angel Sandoval much sharper the 2nd time through the order by and large than he was the first. Matson shows bunt but takes the ball up high. Rada throws down to first base. Not in time to do anything. He allowed 4 of 9 men to reach base first time through. 2nd time through, so far just 2 of 8 men have gotten on. Matson trying to make it 3 of 9 though right here, as he is narrowly ahead in the count, 1-0. This time he gets the bunt down. First base side of the pitcher's mound is picked up by the pitcher Sandoval, who throws over to first for the 1-3 putout. It's a sacrifice for Matson, so he continues to make productive outs as the tying run, Adrian Reed, moves on over to second base. It's a cold, rainy day here in Joliet. Rain stopped right around first pitch. It's only drizzled intermittently since then. But still very wet out here. Apologies for the wet look of today's game. Back to the top of the order for Madonna. Kawana's 1 for 2 as he fouls off the first pitch to the left side. 0-1. Singled in the 1st inning, grounded out in the 2nd. Chance at an RBI here with a runner at second base, and 1 out. Last time St. Francis scored, Madonna was able to match them almost immediately, scoring 2 runs to tie it up. Crusaders are trying to do it again here. Sandoval spins around and throws to second base. Easily back to the bag is Adrian Reed. Perwan, a left-handed hitting center fielder, stands in and awaits the 0-1 from Angel Sandoval, sophomore hurler for St. Francis. Strike called over the outside corner. It's 0-2. Stephen Parker is in the on-deck circle. Barring some sort of bizarre double play, we'll see Parker here in the 5th. And then Sandoval would rather not have to face the heart of the order. Big couple at bats here. Fouled back. Juan does stay alive. It's still 0-2. 2 runs in the 1st for St. Francis. They got 1 on a balk, 1 on a Kevin Rada RBI single. 2 runs in the second for Madonna. They got one on an RBI ground out from Madsen and one on a base hit from Gordon Ferguson. Ground ball left side, grabbed by the third baseman, Wolf. He throws to first for the out. Runner goes from second to third. Throw across the diamond is not in time. Heads up base running by Adrian Reed as he advances 90 feet on a 5-3 putout. 2 down in the inning. Saints don't need to worry too much about Reed here as long as Sandoval can attack Stephen Parker. Reed held up slightly there. Wolf on a ball that wasn't hit all that hard did glance his direction, trying to force him to get back to second base, but didn't have enough time for the full look back, full effect, because the ball was hit softly enough that he had to react pretty quickly to get it over to first. And so Reed was able to make it to third as the throw went to first. But Stephen Parker pops this one to shallow right field, which should end the inning. Travis Schoonover camps under that ball and makes the catch. Madonna gets the leadoff single but doesn't score. They leave Reed at third base. We've played half a baseball game here today, and on our way to the bottom of the fifth, it's 3-2, St. Francis with the lead. Bottom 5 and a new pitcher on the mound for Madonna as they call on the right-hander Victor Mancotti, making his 4th appearance of the year. It's his first as a reliever. Mancotti is 1-0 with a 3.95 ERA. He enters in place of Daniel Gore with a 3-2 deficit. Top of the order up for St. Francis, Dolan Nicholson, left-handed hitting outfielder, leads things off. And the side armor Mancotti fires a ball inside. Nicholson is 1 for 2 with a single and a run scored. Mancotti this season has thrown 13 2/3 innings, which ranks 2nd on the Crusaders team. He's allowed 8 runs, 6 of them have been earned, and he's given up 12 hits in his 13 2/3 innings. He falls behind Dolan Nicholson 2-0. 20 strikeouts, 8 walks this year for Mancotti. Here's his 2-0. Misses outside, 3-0. Final numbers on Daniel Gore. He went 4 innings and allowed 3 runs, all of them earned. Gave up 4 hits, walked 1, struck out 1. (3-0) to Nicholson. Pipes one in for a strike. And the most recent problem with Daniel Gore in this game was that he ran out of control in the 4th inning, maybe starting to tire a little bit. Walked a batter and hit a batter, and that led to a run. Fly ball out to left field, down the line into foul territory, but it will remain in play. Actually drifts back over the line into fair territory for Jalen Thomas to make the catch. 1 out. Actually, I take it back. The final line on Daniel Gore reads 4 innings, 3 runs allowed, 2 of them earned. Remember the run in the 4th came across in part because of the throwing error on Gore himself, looking to pick off a runner at second base. Sharp grounder through the hole on the left side, a base hit for Dustin Krob, his first hit of the game. He's 1 for 3, and the Saints have a 1-out base runner. They've had at least 1 base runner in 4 out of 5 innings so far tonight. The only perfect frame for Gore was the 3rd. That's the same inning in which he picked up his only strikeout of the afternoon. And that strikeout came against Travis Schoonover, who stands in the batter's box right now. 1 of 2 strikeouts, sorry. Dustin Krob went down swinging in the first. Schoonover 0 for 1 with that 3rd inning K. He was hit by the first pitch he saw back in the first inning and then came in to score. Swing and a miss from Schoonover, 0-1. Saints are trying to capture 2 out of 3 against a Madonna team that has played a lot more games up to this point in the season. They're 7-5. One of those wins and one of those losses came yesterday. Same deal for St. Francis, whose season record was 1-4 at the start of play this afternoon. 0-1 on Schoonover. There's a swing and a high fly, shallow, left side, foul, and out of play. Count is 0-2. 1 out, 1 on, 1-run lead for the Fighting Saints. Nobody warming up in their bullpen. Angel Sandoval has been awfully good through his first 5 innings today. Oh, 0-2 is the count. Mancotti squats in and gets the sign from Justin Mattson. Freshman hurler is set. The pitch is fouled back. Still 0-2. A very different look from Victor Mancotti than the one that the Saints got from the starting pitcher Daniel Gore. Big 6'6" tall right-hander. Mancotti is also right-handed, but his height is listed at just 6'3", and he's a side armor. There's a ball downstairs. The runner goes. Throw to second base. Not in time. The throw looked like it may have beaten Krob. The tag did not. And it's 1-2 on Schoonover with a man in scoring position and 1 out following Krob's stolen base. I'm looking at the roster again for Madonna because it didn't seem right when I said that Mancotti was listed at 6'3". He doesn't look 6'3". And I did in fact read it wrong. He's listed at 5'10", and that does make sense. Like I said, a very different angle than the one that the Saints got from Gore. 1-2 is swung on and missed. Schoonover strikes out swinging for the 2nd time today. 2 down, and it's up to Anthony Farron to get this run in from second base. 3-2, St. Francis has the lead. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning. Dustin Krob reached on a 1-out single. He stole second base. He stands in scoring position now for Farron, who's 1 for 2. Singled in the first before grounding out his last time up. First pitch from Mancotti. Taken outside for ball 1. Mancotti steps atop the rubber, glances back at second base, and now ready to stare in at his catcher Justin Mattson and get the ensuing signal. 1 ball, no strikes the count. Next offering to Farron. Misses inside. 2 balls and no strikes. He hasn't walked anybody, but Mancotti's had a little problem with his command here this inning. He's thrown 6 balls among his 13 pitches. This is the 2nd out of 4 hitters that have gotten ahead 2-0. And there's a strike over the inside corner. Just barely found the zone that time. It's 2-1. Nicholson flew out. Krob singled and stole second. Schoonover struck out. So now it's Farron with a runner at second base. He's ahead in the count. 2 balls and 1 strike. Trying to keep it alive for Kevin Rada. He rolls it weakly to first base instead. Picked up by Frankie Luska. He steps on the bag and ends the inning. No runs, 1 hit. No errors, 1 left. On we go to the 6th inning. Our score remains St. Francis 3, Madonna 2. Top of the 6th inning, 3-2. St. Francis has the lead. Angel Sandoval back to the mound to face the 3, 4, and 5 batters. And his first pitch of the inning is taken by Frankie Luska upstairs for ball 1. Luska's 0 for 2. Flew out to left field in the 1st inning. Grounded out to the pitcher, and a nice play made defensively back in the 3rd. Ball outside, 2-0. Sandoval has had just 1 perfect inning today. It was the 3rd. But he has not allowed more than 1 base runner in any inning except for the 2nd. 2-0 to Luska. Outside, 3-0. He also hasn't walked anybody since the 2nd inning, but he's in danger of snapping that streak right here. 3 balls and no strikes on Frankie Luska in a 1-run game. Last thing you want to do is walk the leadoff man, so this is a big pitch. And it's taken for a strike. Sandoval much sharper today than he was in his season debut, as he has held Madonna off the scoreboard for the last 3 frames. They nearly got to him in the 5th. Stranded a man at 3rd base. Fouled away off to the left. It's 3-2 now. Count has gone full after initially starting out 3-0. Sandoval's got a chance now to put Luska away and face Jalen Thomas with nobody on base. Right-handed pitcher, left-handed batter. Here comes the payoff offering. Outside, he walked him. It's always one of the more frustrating at-bats for any pitcher to fall behind 3-0, especially to start an inning when you're still trying to get back into your rhythm. And then to come back with 2 strikes only to walk him anyway. If you're going to walk him, might as well just do it on the first 4 pitches. Sandoval worked his way back into the at-bat before losing the battle anyway. There's Jalen Thomas, tying run over at first base, nobody out, top of the 6th inning. Sandoval's first pitch to Thomas is bunted, foul. Strike 1. Still very overcast outside, but becoming clearer in regards to the rain. Swing and a miss. It gets away from the catcher, Rada, and that allows Luska to advance to 2nd base. The count is 0-2, but Thomas has at least done the first part of his job. He's gotten the runner over on the misplay behind home plate. He did swing at the pitch, but Rada not able to pull it in cleanly. So now the tying run with nobody out is in scoring position here in the top of the sixth. Alex Nicholson on deck just in case Thomas can't get this run in. Nicholson, another good bat. Sandoval could use a strikeout here. He's got 3 of them in the game. Misses high here. 1 ball and 2 strikes. He's still got a couple more pitches to work with as he looks to put Jalen Thomas away. One and 2. Sandoval checks the runner and now delivers. Ball high, 2-2. A leadoff walk, or more technically a leadoff hit by pitch, a couple of innings ago, is what gave the Saints the advantage that they currently enjoy. And Madonna trying to turn the tables, give the Saints a taste of their own medicine. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. It's in the dirt. Rada picks it up, tosses down to first, and it's caught at first base to make the out official. 3rd strikeout of the game for Angel Sandoval, and a huge strikeout at a huge moment in this one. With a runner at second base, starting to get a little bit late in the game. Still a long way to go, but top of the 6th inning, when you start to worry a little bit if you are trailing, even by just a run. Madonna's at a point where they can't afford to waste base runners because they don't know how many more chances they'll get. So they have this man in scoring position, and still less than 2 outs. Still a very good scoring chance for Alex Nicholson, who takes ball 1 up high. Not quite as strong a scoring opportunity as it was just minutes ago when Thomas was in the batter's box and Lusko was at second with nobody out. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. The count evens up on Nicholson. He has not put the ball in play yet today, but he has scored a run. 0 for 1 officially with a strikeout and a walk. He scored back in the 2nd inning. He used that leadoff walk back in the 2nd inning that led to a Madonna run. And Sandoval right now trying not to let that happen to another leadoff walk, as the 1-1 pitch is foul tipped by Alex Nicholson to put him behind 1-2. Be another good time for a Sandoval strikeout. Not a huge strikeout pitcher. He's got 4 of them today, and 1 of them just moments ago in a huge juncture. Still a huge juncture now. Can he get another K? 1-2. Not yet. He steps off the rubber and looks back to second base, where Luska takes a short lead. Now he's ready to go with the 1 ball, 2 strike pitch. Swung on, grounded to the third baseman, down to his knees. Wolf scoops it up and throws to first. There's out number 2. Nice play by Jonathan Wolf as he had to drop down to smother that ball. Lusko remains at second base. He was there with nobody out, and now with 2 down, it's up to Jared Doki to get a hit to bring him in. Doki's been the one guy you can count on to do that today if you're Madonna. He's got nearly half of the team's safeties in the game, 2 out of 5. He's singled twice. He has scored a run. If he can wrap out a base hit right here, it would likely lead to the tying run scoring. Strike 1 called. Good start to the at-bat for Sandoval. 3-2. St. Francis has the tight lead. 1-1 on Doki. Popped up foul and out of play to the right. The count is 0-2. So after the leadoff walk and then pass ball that advanced the runner to second base, Sandoval was in some trouble. Now he's not out of the woods, but he's just 1 strike away from seeing that clearing. 0-2 on Doki. Madonna's third baseman looking for an RBI base hit to even the score. Here's the pitch. Low and inside, ball 1. Gordon Ferguson waits in the on-deck circle. Sandoval would rather not face him. There's a right-hander wearing a sweatshirt, loosening up down in the St. Francis bullpen right now. This may be Sandoval's last inning. If he gets this 1 more out, it will have been a fine performance. He's not just one more out, just one more strike. He just misses it right there. Tad high. The count is 2-2. Two outs, a runner in scoring position, 1-run lead for the Saints. Sandoval set, throws back to second base. And diving back in safely is Luska. Well, with 2 outs and 2 strikes, Sandoval will probably be best served just focusing on the man in the box right now, even if it is a guy he's had a little trouble with today. You don't have to worry about that runner as long as you get the man in the box. 2-2. Toki takes the ball high. Sandoval has missed on 3 straight after getting ahead of him 0-2. The inning began with a walk to Frankie Luska. He was ahead 3-0. Came back to load the count before walking. Toki was behind 0-2, and now he's come back to load the count. It would only be fitting if he ended on a strikeout. Instead, he makes contact, popping it up to right field. It's in foul ground and shallow. Reaching over the railing of the dugout is Farron. I think he made the grab. He did. Great catch by Farron as he reached over the railing, caught the ball before he fell, but he did fall into the dugout after it dropped into his glove. He flipped over in control, so he was able to land softly on the other side, but that's a tough spot to hold on to the ball in, and he did. Good play by Farron to end the inning and keep Madonna off the scoreboard. We head to the bottom of the 6th, 3-2 St. Francis. We're ready to start the bottom of the 6th inning. St. Francis has got the 1-run lead, trying to extend it with Kevin Rada leading things off and fouling off the first pitch for strike 1. Rada's 1 for 1. He's had a productive day at the plate. An RBI single in the first. Last time up, he was hit by a pitch. That was in the bottom of the 4th inning. He was removed for a courtesy runner, and that runner came in to score the go-ahead run. And the run that, if the game were to end with this score, would be the decisive one, 3-2. As Rada flies one out to left field, playable for Thomas, who circles it and makes the catch for out number 1. Victor Mancotti has retired 4 of the 5 batters that he's faced since coming on in relief of Daniel Gore in the 5th inning. And that includes the leadoff man for the 2nd straight frame. He'll face Josh Tesh with 1 out and nobody on. Tesh is 0 for 2. He's grounded out to short twice in very different ways. In the 1st inning, a routine double play ball that ended a 2-run inning. And then in the 4th, it went into the hole. That was played extremely well by Gordon Ferguson. It's the first pitch to Tesh, comes in behind him for ball 1. That one got away from Mancotti, as the catcher Justin Mattson had to reach behind his legs to pull that pitch in. 1-0 is fouled off. The bat goes flying into the dugout. It looked like everybody was able to get out of the way. The count is 1-1. That bat just shot out of the hands of Josh Tesh. Looks like he might go get a new bat. Feels a little more comfortable in his hands. Barely got a piece of the ball. Count is 1-1. 1 out, nobody on in the bottom of the 6th inning. On a cool, wet day here in late February in Joliet. The last of 3 February games that the Saints will play at home. Their next one after this is down in Florida. There's a called strike, and the count is 1-2. They'll be playing on March 3rd, so they get a full week off before they resume activity. 1-2. Ground ball up the middle, off the pitcher's mound, and it rolls out to center field. Base hit for Josh Tesh, as he's now 1 for 3. That ball died in shallow center. Again, it's a slow infield to begin with on this artificial turf, but even slower today because of all the rain. That ball hit off the pitcher's mound and bounced over second base and looked like it was easily going to get through to center. It did eventually make it to center field, but Adrian Reed, the second baseman, was actually able to make a sliding stop on the ball about 20 feet deep into the outfield. No chance to get the runner at first base, but still played by the infield because of how slow this field is playing at the moment. Fouled back by Sean Harper for strike 1. Harper is 0 for 1 with a ground out. He walked in the 4th inning. So he's been on base once, trying to make it twice in 3 plate appearances and advance this runner from first base. Next pitch is taken for a strike. Count is 0-2. 1 out, 1 on, 1-run lead for the Fighting Saints in the bottom of the 6th inning. Trying to take 2 of 3 this weekend from a very tough Madonna team. Throw to first base from Mancati. Tesh back to the bag safely. Now the 0-2. Way outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mancati's looking for a ground ball that could potentially get him out of the inning. Good strikeout pitcher, though, just 1 strike away from what would be number 2 in this appearance. Righty versus righty. Mancati sets, delivers, and misses inside. Just missed Harper on that pitch. The count is 2-2. Saints scored 2 in the 1st, 1 in the 4th. Crusaders' lone 2 runs came in the 2nd inning, as they have not been able to get to Angel Sandoval ever since. Fouled back by Harper, still 2-2. Sandoval remains in as St. Francis's pitcher, or at least he did as of the end of the top of the 6th inning. We'll see if he comes back out for the top of the 7th in a few minutes. Nobody throwing in the bullpen right now for St. Francis. There was a right-hander loosening up a little bit earlier. 2-2 on Harper. He swings and flies it into right field. That sends Parker twirling backwards, but he gets to the spot to make the catch. And Harper is retired for out number 2. Tesh remains at first base with 2 down. And the batter is Johnny Peterson. Peterson is 0 for 1. He flew out to center field. That was back in the 2nd inning. In the 4th, he picked up an RBI, the go-ahead RBI on a sacrifice fly to right field. Ball outside. That sac fly in the 4th was in foul territory. Stephen Parker had to make a sliding catch on it. And it was a nice play to get the out, but it allowed a run to score as well. There's a called strike. It's 1-1. Every once in a while, late in games, if it's tied and there's a runner at third with less than 2 outs, a ball hit in a foul territory, the outfielders just let it drop on purpose to make sure that the run doesn't tag and score. Called strike. It's 1-2. In this case, it would have been hard to make that argument in only the 4th inning. You should just let it drop. But now as we get later and later into the game, that run stands larger and larger. 1-2. Peterson chases one outside for strike 3 swinging. The inning is over. Just as he did in the 5th inning, Mancati pitches around a 1-out single and does not allow anybody to score. We head to the 7th here in Joliet. St. Francis 3, Madonna 2. Top of the 7th inning, Angel Sandoval still out there for St. Francis, clutching onto a 3-2 lead. His first pitch is a strike as Gordon Ferguson swings through it, 0-1. Sandoval out to start his 7th inning of work. There is a right-hander warming up in the bullpen for the 2nd consecutive inning. After a leadoff walk in the 6th, though, Sandoval settled in, got 3 consecutive outs, did not allow a run. And so he gets a chance to get through one more frame. He's retired 6 of the last 7 men that he's faced. And aside from the 2nd inning, he has not allowed more than 1 base runner in any frame. There's a tapper back to the mound, barehanded by Sandoval. Quick throw to first is in time. Good play by Sandoval on a swinging bunt. Didn't have a lot of time to react to that one. He had to play it barehanded. It was his only option, and it worked out pretty well. Ferguson is retired 4 straight, set down by the sophomore Sandoval. That makes the batter Adrian Reed 1 for 1 with a single and a sacrifice bunt. 3-2, St. Francis leads. We've not seen either team score a run since the 4th inning. There's a ball downstairs on Adrian Reed. Good day at the plate so far for Reed. Trying to start a 1-out rally in the 7th that would tie the score at least and maybe take the lead. That ball's flipped into left field, playable for Harper, who steps in and makes the grab. 2 down. Sandoval's pitched to Jem so far today. Again, aside from that 2nd inning, he had the hiccup at the beginning of the 2nd. Walk, single, single is how that inning started. Other than that, he hasn't allowed more than 1 base runner in any inning. He's only got 1 perfect inning, trying for number 2 right here. But aside from that 2nd inning, he's allowed just 3 hits and 1 walk. Even including that 2nd inning, he's allowed only 5 hits and 2 walks. Pretty good numbers through 6 2/3. This is just the 2nd time today in which he's retired the first 2 batters of an inning. Gets to face a man with 2 down and nobody on. And he misses outside for ball 1 on the number 9 batter. This is catcher Justin Matson's spot in the batting order, but it's not Matson batting. As that ball misses for a 2-0 count. Matt Stalegrave is the hitter, freshman from Bruce Township, Michigan. 412 hitters so far on the season. They need some offense late in this one, trailing by 1. Strike call. It's 2-1. Stalegrave's got 7 hits and 17 at bats coming into this weekend. 2 of those hits have been doubles, 1 RBI. He swings and misses. The count is 2-2. Sandoval is 1 strike away from his 6th shutout inning out of 7 total. And what's been a sterling 6 2/3 innings performance. There's a swing and a miss, but it gets by Rada to the backstop, and Stalegrave reaches first base safely. That took a very unfortunate carom for the Fighting Saints. I think it hit off of the gate. A little narrow area right behind home plate that opens up to allow people to get through to the clubhouse area. If it had hit against the wall instead of the gate, it may have ricocheted back to the catcher. Since it didn't, it died back around the backstop, and Stalegrave easily reached first base on the drop third strike. So despite a strikeout here, Sandoval is not able to have his 2nd perfect inning of the game. He does have his 5th strikeout. And now it's up to the top of the order to get this run in from Madonna and tie the score. Joey Piwan is the batter. He's 1 for 3 with a single back in the 1st inning and a couple of groundouts since then. He fouls off the first pitch for strike 1. Three to 2 St. Francis in a game that has been tight the whole way, but it seemed even tighter just based on the number of base runners that Madonna has had. Runner goes, the pitch is inside for a ball, throw to second, bounces in, and Stalegrave is safe. So for the 3rd consecutive inning, the Crusaders get the potential tying run into scoring position. This time it happens with 2 outs, but with a solid hitter in the box. The leadoff man for Madonna, trying to get this runner in from second. Sandoval's next delivery is in the dirt. It gets away from Rada, and Stalegrave heads to third base. Without putting the bat on the ball, they've got a man at third. Drop third strike, a stolen base, and now a wild pitch. The count is 2-1 on Joey Piwan. Corner infielders come in with the tying run now just 90 feet away. It's the 2nd time since St. Francis has held this 1-run lead that Madonna's gotten the tying run to third. Ball upstairs. 3 straight misses from Angel Sandoval after throwing a first pitch strike. Now that right-hander down in the bullpen, warming up a little bit more earnestly. He has shed his sweatshirt, so he should be able to get a number on him. There's a grounder to the left side. Charging is the shortstop. Glove cleanly. The throw to first is in time. Nice play by Dustin Krob to get his man and end the inning. No runs come in to score despite the 2-out nervousness. And as we head to the bottom of the 7th, our score is 3-2 St. Francis. Two and a half innings still left on the docket here, and so far St. Francis has been able to carry a lead most of the way. It's 3-2 right now. They'll try to extend that narrow advantage with Wolf, Nicholson, and Krob due up against Mancati. Mancati on for his 3rd inning of work. Facing Wolf for the first time. He went 1 for 2 with a single and a ground out against the starting pitcher, Daniel Gore. He tried to check his swing, but went around there for a strike. Victor Mancotti has pitched 2 innings. He's allowed 2 hits, but no runs. Got a pair of strikeouts, no walks. Good relief appearance for the freshman, who's been nothing but a starter so far this season prior to today. 3 strong starts and now a good relief outing. There's a ball on Wolf. Jonathan Wolf, third baseman for St. Francis, did not have a hit entering this weekend. Started one of the opening 3 games. He tried to hold himself up again, but went around, and that's strike 3. So 3 strikeouts in the game now for Victor Mancotti. And the leadoff man is retired. Mancotti's retired the leadoff man every inning he's pitched. And each of the first 2 frames, the second guy up reached on a single. We'll see if that trend continues. It's Dolan Nicholson now. Nicholson 1 for 3 so far in the game, singled and scored back in the first. He shows bunt, but pulls the bat back and takes a ball. Nicholson, one of the few players on either side, showing off his arms right now, wearing short sleeves on this cold winter day. 1-0. Inside for a ball. 2-0. Nicholson had to twirl out of the way of that one. Good hitters count here. Nicholson trying to provide the Saints some insurance. He takes a strike. It's 2-1. Next toss is popped up foul to the left side. Out of play. The count is 2-2. Again, the St. Francis bullpen is empty. The guy who was warming up before was Hunter Morawski. He was up in both the 6th and 7th innings, but Angel Sandoval got through both of those without needing any relief. Fouled away, still 2-2. And after Sandoval made it through the 7th, who knows, maybe we'll see him out there for the 8th as well, as Morawski is not loosening at the moment. Righty to lefty, another 2-2 pitch. Fouled straight back off the net. Still 2-2. On deck is Dustin Krob. He made a nice defensive play to end the last inning. Travis Schoonover in the hole. He'll bat only if somebody reaches base. Dolan Nicholson is the first batter that Mancotti faced when he came in the 5th inning. Got him to fly out to left field. Looking for a similar result here. It's still 2-2. This is the 7th pitch of the sequence. And it's low and outside. So the count goes full. Nicholson will see an 8th pitch as he tries to work his way on base. One out, nobody on in the bottom of the 7th. There's a swing and a foul tip straight back. Just barely got a piece of that one. Still 3-2. Longest at bat of the day so far, 8 pitches and counting. Cotty's starting to get fed up, I think, with Dolan Nicholson, looking to put him away. Nicholson pops it up, left side, foul. Drifting over towards the seating area is Doki. He's got plenty of room, and he does make the catch for out number 2. So a good battle won by the pitcher. And now it's up to Krob to keep the inning alive. Dustin Krob is 1 for 3, singled and stole a base his last time up, but was stranded at second. Senior transfer from South Suburban College takes a strike. Trying to bring Schoonover to the plate. 3-2, St. Francis leads in the 7th inning. Strike over the outside corner. It's 0-2. Outfielders playing shallow all around as they have been for both teams all day. In this cold weather, not much carry to the ball, and it showed. There's a swing and a miss, and it's strike 3. A 1-2-3 7th inning. Worked by Victor Mancotti. He's got 4 strikeouts, has not allowed a run through 3 innings. And we go to the 8th. The count remains St. Francis 3, Madonna 2. Top of the 8th inning, St. Francis leads Madonna 3-2, 6 outs away from a win. Not going to be an easy 6 outs, going up against 2, 3, and 4 this inning. Angel Sandoval still in the game, and his first pitch is smacked into center field by Stephen Parker. So the tying run is on base for the Crusaders with nobody out as they get their leadoff man on for the 5th time today. Only once has that leadoff man scored, but it's not a position you want to consistently be in if you're a starting pitcher, or any type of pitcher, I guess. Parker is now 1 for 4 in the ball game. And it brings up Frankie Luska. Luska's 0 for 2. He walked his last time up and was left at second. Hunter Morawski is throwing again down in the left field bullpen. Sandoval right at around 100 pitches. Quick meeting on the mound with the catcher Kevin Rada, who trudges back behind home plate. Doesn't look like the Saints are going to make a change just yet with Sandoval. The Crusaders are having a little conference though, as Parker has been called in along with Luska, the head coach Ted Faulkner, to discuss the game plan. It looked like the umpire had written something down, but there's no substitutions being made despite that conference. It's Luska in the batter's box, and it's Parker at first base, and it's a 1-run game. And now we'll see Brian Mahalik pop out of the dugout and apparently make a change. Sandoval 7+ very strong innings today, but he is done with a man at first base and nobody out in the top of the 8th. We've got a pitching change. I'll tell you all about the new man in just a few moments. Right now, I'll step aside. 3-2, St. Francis leads in the 8th inning. New pitcher for St. Francis with a runner at first base and nobody out in the top of the 8th inning is right-handed sophomore Hunter Morawski out of Braidwood, Illinois, and Reed Custer High School. He faces Frankie Luska with Stephen Parker over at first base. Nobody out in the inning. Luska squares to bunt. He takes a ball. The runner goes, throw to second. Not in time. He overslid the bag, but Peterson did not keep the tag on him, so he's safe at second base. And now the tying run is in scoring position on the stolen base. Angel Sandoval pitched an excellent ball game today, 7+ innings. He departed with a 1-run lead, but the runner at first base is his responsibility. Now he's at second. He left with the runner at first. 1-0 on Luska, who will probably be looking to bunt now. He takes the ball outside, 2-0. Well, maybe now that there's a man in second with nobody out, they're going to play for multiple runs. He had squared to bunt on the first pitch, pulled the bat back, took a ball, and the runner stole. And now rather than advance him to third with only 1 out, they're going to try to swing away and get something big brewing here, especially with this 2 balls and no strikes count. Luska takes strike 1. For Morawski, this is the season debut on the mound. And trying to shut the door on this Madonna offense that has been knocking all game. There's a called strike, 2-2. Their only runs came on a Gordon Ferguson RBI single, followed by a Justin Mattson RBI ground out back in the 2nd inning. They've had base runners almost every frame since then against Angel Sandoval, but haven't been able to break through. Now they try to break through against Hunter Morawski. The 2-2. Outside ball 3. Sandoval in today's game struck out 5. He walked only 2. Time is called in the batter's box by Luska. Gave up just 5 hits. I'll make that 6, including the one he allowed on the final pitch that he threw, the first one of the 8th inning. That's Stephen Parker base hit. Parker now at second base, full count on Luska, and he takes ball 4 outside. So with nobody out in a 1-run game here in the top of the 8th inning, there are 2 men on base. And the batter is Jalen Thomas. Nail-biting moment here for the Fighting Saints, trying to win 2 out of 3 against Madonna University. They've held this lead for all but a short while in this game. They have not trailed. It was 2-0 after 1 inning. Madonna came back, tied it at 2 before the Saints reclaimed the lead in the 4th. And they've had that lead ever since. And here comes potentially another pitching change as Brian Mahalik walks towards the mound again. There is another right-hander throwing in the bullpen. The man loosening up at the moment. I thought it was number 31. Might be number 21, Hutton Flores. No, it's 31. Saints don't have a number 31. Oh, there he is, Tyler Dome. Sometimes we're number 10, sorry. Tyler Dome is the guy loosening up right now. But they're going to stick with the man on the mound, Morawski, for the moment. Runners at first and second, nobody out. And the cleanup batter, Jalen Thomas, standing in. Thomas, a .257 hitter entering play in this weekend series. 4 extra base hits, 6 RBIs. Big spot here. Morawski is ready to go on the mound. He gets the sign in from Rada and sets. First pitch to Jalen Thomas. Long pause first, and now to the plate. Thomas takes a ball high. Farron is coming in from first base looking for the bunt. One of Madonna's better power hitters is in the batter's box, though. They've not been shy about bunting with whomever's been up there, but no inclination on the first pitch from Jalen Thomas. There's a strike over the inside corner, 1-1. One of the bigger spots that Hunter Morawski has ever pitched in as a member of the Fighting Saints. Right here, trying to take this game, trying to take this series, but in some trouble with 2 on and nobody out in a 1-run game. Pickoff throw to first base, and they've got him. Out number 1, Luska is picked off at first. A huge first out secured by Morawski. One down now, runner at second. That does eliminate the force at second and also at third base. Now any out will do for Morawski. The 1-1 pitch. Chopper to third. That's a foul ball, and the count is 1-2. Alex Nicholson stands in the on-deck circle. Madonna trying to tie this thing up once again and maybe even take the lead here. Saints are just 5 outs away from the win. 1-2 the count. Here's the pitch to Jalen Thomas. Up and in, ball 2. It's been a very lengthy top of the 8th. It started off with a single. And then a pitching change. We've seen a couple of mound visits this inning, slowing things down, just adding to the tension in the ballpark as the 2-2 comes in. Over the inside corner, a called strike 3. First strikeout for Hunter Morawski as he's now recorded 2 outs in the inning and is 1 away from getting out of it and sending his offense back out there for the the bottom of the 8th. It's all up to Alex Nicholson here. Nicholson, the designated hitter, has gone 0 for 2. But back in the second inning, he drew the leadoff walk that led to the 2-run rally. He scored the first of those 2 runs. First pitch is taken for strike 1. The runner at second is Stephen Parker. He led off the inning with a single, still representing the tying score. Ball in the dirt. It's 1-1 on Nicholson. This is the 4th consecutive inning in which the Crusaders have gotten the tying run into scoring position. They were not able to capitalize in the first 3. How about this time? Here in the 8th, 2 outs, a man at second, the 1-1 before the 1-1 pitch, a timeout called by Alex Nicholson. Jared Doakey's on deck. He bats, though, only if Nicholson reaches base. There's a ball outside. The count is 2-1 on Nicholson. Just about 4 o'clock here. I haven't seen any signs of sunlight today. It's been overcast the entire day. There's a fly ball into center field. Backing up on that ball is Nicholson. It's over his head. It's an extra base hit for Alex Nicholson. The game is tied as 1 run scores. Rounding second, heading to third is Alex Nicholson. He slides in safely. It's a 2-out RBI triple in the top of the 8th inning with 2 outs. The first extra base hit we've seen all day, and what a big one it is. Alex Nicholson hits it over the head of Dolan Nicholson, who was playing a shallow center field. The outfielder's been playing shallow all game because nothing's been hit out there. On a cold day like this, nothing is carrying. But that one went over his head for the big run to tie it up at 3. And now Jared Doakey to the plate. Tries to give Madonna their first lead of the afternoon. First pitch misses high from Morawski. It's 1-0. Jared Doakey has singled twice and scored once. And that was the first extra base hit of the game for either team, not just for Madonna. Ball low and outside. Morawski struggling with his control now. 2-0. Since coming on, Morawski has thrown 6 balls. Only 5 strikes. He got the first out on a pickoff. He was able to strike out Thomas looking. But the triple for Nicholson has tied the score. Now a pop-up hit by Jared Doakey, shallow right. Peterson backs up from second base and makes the catch to end the inning. The run scores, though, with 2 outs in the inning and evens it up 3-3 as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning here in Joliet. It's the bottom of the 8th inning, and we've got a tie score 3-3 for the second time today. Madonna has been able to come from behind and knot it up. Saints, though, have their 3, 4, and 5 due up at the bottom of the 8th, trying to reclaim that lead. It's Travis Schoonover, Anthony Farron, and Kevin Rada. Victor Mancotti doing the pitching, and his first offering is fouled off by Schoonover for strike 1. Mancotti's on for his 4th inning of work. The freshman reliever, who's been a starter up until this point in the season, has allowed 2 hits and no runs in his first 3 innings worked. The 0-1. This is inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Mancotti had a long delay in the top of the 8th inning, a very lengthy top half of the 8th, and sometimes that serves to harm a pitcher. We'll see if that's the case today. Ball inside, 2-1. Cold weather generally tends to favor pitching. But because of that long layoff, the one thing that does harm a pitcher on a cold day like this is his muscles will tighten up a lot quicker. So there's a ground ball to the first base side, sliding stop by Frankie Luska, who tosses over to first base, and the pitcher covering the bag for out number 1. 6 straight have been set down by Mancotti. And now it's Anthony Farron's turn. Farron is 1 for 3, singled back in the first. The lights have come on here at Slammers Stadium. Again, just past 4 o'clock. It's not yet past sunset, but it's been cloudy and overcast all day. And so the lights go on now just after 4. Ball went outside on Anthony Farron. 3-3. Saints scored 2 in the first and 1 in the fourth. Crusaders scored 2 in the second and 1 in the 8th. St. Francis was just 4 outs away from winning the ball game prior to that RBI triple from Alex Nicholson. Strike called on Farron, 1-1. Righty to righty, Mancotti's next pitch. Outside, 2-1. There's a right-hander warming in the Madonna bullpen, but just playing a little light catch right now. Not yet at a position where he would seriously consider coming in. Ball inside, 3-1. Saints could use a base runner any way they can get him. Farron 1 ball away from putting the go-ahead run on. And he gets that ball 4. So he is aboard with 1 out in the 8th. That snaps the string of 6 straight set down, and Kevin Rada, who's already got an RBI today, has an opportunity to pick up the game-winning RBI, or at least a late go-ahead RBI. Farron departs, and coming on for St. Francis is Noah Carraro. Pinch runner for St. Francis. And a threat to steal second base. Mancotti knows that. You will undoubtedly watch him closely. Big swing and a miss from the catcher Kevin Rada, who flew out to left field his last time up. Picked up an RBI single in the first inning. In the fourth, he was hit by a pitch. His courtesy runner, the man who's over at first base right now, was the one who scored to make it 3-2. Popped up high in the air, right side, foul ground on the infield, towards the dugout, out of play. Justin Matson gave it as good a run as he could. Catcher tossed his mask aside and clung next to the netting, but it was out of his reach about 3 rows back. 0-2 on Rada. Josh Tesh due up next. One out, one on. Tie game in the 8th. Ball outside. 1-2. Mancotti's walk of Anthony Farron was his first such free pass since entering the game to start the 5th inning. His predecessor, Daniel Gore, walked a couple and hit a couple in his 4 innings. That ball's fouled away. Walked 1 and hit a couple, I should say. So far, the Saints have done a good job taking advantage of those free passes. At least they did against Gore. We'll see if they can against Mancotti as well. Still 1-2. Rada tries to hold up his swing. On appeal, he went around. Strike 3. 5th strikeout for Mancotti in 3 2/3 innings. And now it's up to Josh Tesh. Tesh is 1 for 3, singled in the 6th inning. St. Francis needs a big hit from him here. Ball 1 outside. In the top of the 9th inning, it's the bottom of the order for Madonna. Ferguson, Reed, and Matson. Swing and a miss. Big cut from Josh Tesh. Count is 1-1. Anthony Farron drew the 1-out walk, but it's been a while since anybody's been able to come up with a hit off of Mancotti. The last one to do it was Josh Tesh, who this time checks the swing and takes a ball. 2-1. Tesh's single in the 6th inning was one of only 2 hits so far against Victor Mancotti. The other was a Dustin Krob single in the 6th. Mancotti takes a long look in at the catcher and now sets himself for the next pitch. Popped up, foul to the right side towards the bullpen. Parker gives it a good chase, but can't quite get there in time. It drops in the bullpen, the Madonna bullpen, down the right field line. 2 balls and 2 strikes now on Josh Tesh. If Tesh should reach, Sean Harper would bat next. Righty versus righty. Mancotti getting set for the 2-2. Runner goes. The pitch is a ball. Throw to second base is not in time. Saints have a man in scoring position now with a full count on Tesh. was a 2-out RBI hit following a stolen base that led to the Crusaders getting a run last inning. See, the Saints can dial up the exact same thing. Full count on Tesh. Mancotti is set. Here's the pitch. Inside, he walked him. Second walk of the inning. And there are 2 men on base with 2 outs for Sean Harper. Harper is 0 for 2. He's walked once. And we may just have seen the end of Victor Mancotti, who's starting to lose his control here in the 8th inning with 2 walks. 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. Go-ahead run in scoring position. And another one at first. Harper coming up against the new pitcher. We'll preview that matchup in just a moment. It's 3-3 in the 8th inning. It's the bottom of the 8th inning, and we've got a tie score. It's 3-3. St. Francis has 2 runners on base, 1 at first, 1 at second, 2 outs. And Sean Harper's coming up against a new Crusaders pitcher. It is right-hander John Buccaleer. Buccaleer on for the 5th time, all in relief. No record of 2.84 ERA. In 6 1/3 innings, he's allowed 2 runs on 5 hits, 6 strikeouts, and 5 walks. He replaces Victor Mancotti, who did a great job, 3 2/3 innings. Has not so far allowed a run. Buccaleer ready to go, as is the man in the right-handed batter's box, Sean Harper. Harper takes the first pitch downstairs for ball 1. Nobody warming up in either bullpen right now. Hunter Morawski finished off the 8th for the Fighting Saints, and would likely come on to pitch the 9th as well, whether winning or tied. Ball inside, nearly clipped him. Count is 2-0 on Harper. John Peterson stands on deck. Saints are threatening to load the bases on walks. In fact, last time they scored a run in the 4th, they didn't get a hit. Hit batter, walk, sacrifice, fly. That's how it happened. There's a strike. Right down Broadway. Buccaleer probably figured Harper wouldn't be swinging there. 2-0, it's risky. But he had a get me over pitch, and he got it over. 2-1. Upstairs, ball 3. Harper's got a chance to be the hero, but if this at bat continues the way it's gone so far, John Peterson's going to get a chance to be the hero. 3 balls, 1 strike. Go ahead run in scoring position. Harper pops it up behind home plate. It looks to be playable for the catcher, who throws his mask aside, makes the catch, and ends the inning. The Saints threaten but don't score. We will head to the 9th, 3-3. It's the top of the ninth inning. We've got a tie score. Hunter Morawski still on the mound for St. Francis. It's his second inning of work. He gave up an inherited runner last inning that tied the score for Madonna. Nothing has been credited against him yet, though. Trying to keep it that way. He'll face Ferguson, Reed, and Matson here in the top of the ninth. 7, 8, and 9 batters. First offering misses high on Gordon Ferguson. Ferguson, a good power hitter for Madonna. He's already got a couple of homers this year. On this game, he's 1 for 3 with an RBI single. He takes high from Morawski, 2-0. Hunter Morawski has had some problems with his control. He's thrown more balls than strikes since entering the game last inning. Hasn't walked anybody yet, though. There's a grounder right at the second baseman, Peterson. He gloves it, throws to first, and has the first out. Ferguson, the number 7 batter, is retired. Now it's the number 8 man, the second baseman, Adrian Reed. Reed is 1 for 2 with a single in the 5th inning. Dropped down a sacrifice bunt his first time up. So he's had a productive day. He takes strike 1 from Morawski. The Saints in the bottom of the 9th inning will have Peterson, Wolf, and Nicholson due up. They're 8, 9, and 1 batters. There's a foul ball hit by Reed, 0-2. Morawski starting to settle in after control problems plagued first few batters of the appearance. He's found the zone on 3 straight, including an 0-2 count now on Adrian Reed. Can he put him away? Flared out to left field, dropping in for a base hit. It's a 1-out single for Adrian Reed. Big turnaround first base. There was a slight bobble out and left by Sean Harper, but not enough for Reed to risk going to second. So he stops where he is, a 1-out single. Go-ahead run for Madonna is on base again. There's only been one 1-2-3 inning against this Madonna offense. That was way back in the 3rd. They stranded a man in scoring position in the 6th, 7th, and 8th. They've had more than their opportunities to win this one, but they haven't been able to take advantage. Angel Sandoval pitched so well for 7+ innings for the Saints. Now it's Morawski trying to continue what he started, but he misses low and away for ball 1. Matson is 0 for 1 with an RBI ground out and a sacrifice bunt. Did not bat his last time through the batting order. They pinch hit for him that time around. Brought him back out there now. 1-0 the count on Matson. Long set from Morawski and out of the plate. Up and in. Ball 2. Saints have not trailed in this game. They scored 2 runs in the bottom of the 1st inning and haven't really looked back. They were up 2-0, lost that lead, so it became 2-2. Scored again, it was 3-2, but they've lost that lead now to make it 3-3. They had that lead for the majority of the game, from the bottom of the 4th all the way to the top of the 8th inning. I guess that's not quite a majority, but it feels like it. 2-0 the count. Morawski's next pitch will come after the timeout. Tyler Dome is once again warming up in the home bullpen down the left field line. Right field bullpen is empty for the moment. Called strike 1 on Matson. It's 2-1. Madonna's used 3 pitchers so far in the game. Victor Mancotti was the most impressive, going 3+ innings. John Buckelair finished off that last inning. Pickoff throw to first base, and Reed is back in safely. 3-3 in the 9th. Runner on first base, 1 out. 2-1 on the catcher, Matson. Swung on, popped up on the infield. Playable for John Peterson. The second baseman makes the grab. Two outs in the ninth inning. Back to the top of the order. Joey P1. Singled in the first inning. Since then, he's 0 for 3. 3 ground outs, all of them to the left side. Twice to the shortstop, once to third base. Morawski's pickoff attempt to first is not in time to get Reed. Morawski did pick off Frankie Luska in the 8th inning. He's been trying to repeat that success here in the 9th. First pitch to the leadoff man is taken for strike 1. Adrian Reed hit the 1-out single. Still at first base right now. Madonna has not had an inning in which they failed to reach scoring position since the 4th. As that throw to first base again sends Reed back to the bag. Again, the only 1-2-3 inning was the 3rd. They've had runners in scoring position in all but the 1st, 3rd, and 4th. There's a called strike, and the count is 0-2. Morawski now 1 strike away from pitching out of this turbulent 7th inning, or rather 8th inning. Make that the 9th. Figure it out one way or the other. The last inning of a regulation game, which this one may or may not be. 0-2. Hard grounder right at the second baseman and through his legs. Out to center field, rounding second and heading to third is Adrian Reed, and they're at the corners with 2 outs. It was a hard hit ball, but it was playable for Peterson and probably should have been out number 3. Instead, there are runners at the corners. The go-ahead run stands just 90 feet away, and the batter is Stephen Parker. Parker singled his last time up. It was his single, in fact, that helped to chase Angel Sandoval out of the game. And it looks like his appearance in the batter's box right now is going to chase Hunter Morawski from the game. Ryan Mahalik looks ready to make a change. We'll see if he makes the signal down to the bullpen. We're tied at 3 in the top of the 9th inning with 2 outs. There are 2 men on base for Madonna. Mahalik is having a conversation with Hunter Morawski, but he has not yet made a move to a relief pitcher. He's got the whole infield along with his catcher Kevin Rada joining him on the mound, and they're going to stick with Morawski. Give him the chance to get through Stephen Parker. Two-out RBI triple for Alex Nicholson in the top of the 8th is the reason we're in this predicament. Madonna with a chance to take the lead for the first time. First pitch to Stephen Parker. Misses for ball 1. Parker is 1 for 4 with the 8th inning single and the tying run that set us up where we are. One and 0. Ball outside, 2-0. Rada fakes the throw down to first base, but holds on to the ball. Good hitter's count here for Stephen Parker, a .450 hitter at the start of this series. He had been 9 of 20 with 2 RBIs. Now trying to drive in a big run in the 9th inning. He takes a strike. The count is 2-1. Rain is falling here in Joliet. We've been mostly dry throughout the game, despite it having rained all morning and into the early afternoon, but it's starting to come down again here in the 9th inning. And in a tie ball game here, 2 on, 2 out. Stephen Parker trying to play the hero for Madonna University. 2-1 the count. Here's the pitch. A little upstairs, ball 3. If Parker does reach base, Frankie Luska bats next, and potentially he will have the chance to come up with a game-winning hit. Parker trying to do it first. Of course, whether or not they score any runs, St. Francis will get a chance in the bottom of the 9th. Throw to first base. The runner dives back in safely. The runner on first base is important. Saints certainly don't want to see him score, but his importance pales in comparison to that of the man at third. That would give Madonna their first lead. The runner at third base, Adrian Reed, dancing around a little bit, forced Morawski to step off the rubber and look him back to the base. And now he's ready for the 3-1. Outside, he walked him. So the bases are loaded now, and there is truly no margin for error. A wild pitch or a passed ball gives Madonna the lead. That was true before as well. A walk, a hit by pitch, an error, any of those things, and naturally a hit, they would all put Madonna in front. It's 3-3 right now. Luska has walked in each of his last 2 plate appearances. He's 0 for 2 officially. And he takes a ball in the dirt, 1-0. As rain continues to fall, Madonna tries to capture that one more run they need to move in front. St. Francis will have Peterson, Wolf, and Nicholson coming up in the bottom of the 9th inning. A lengthy top half of the 9th first, though. The 1-0 pitch misses upstairs. 2 balls and no strikes. Morawski had some control problems when he came into today's game. Seemed to have them all worked out as he got a couple of outs this inning. But he walked Parker, and now he's fallen behind Luska 2-0. Base is full. Here's the pitch. Upstairs, ball 3. Madonna's bench is making some noise. They know they're 1 ball away from taking the lead in this game. They were down 3-2, down to their final 4 outs. And now they've tied it and have a chance to move ahead. Three balls and no strikes on the number 3 batter, first baseman Frankie Luska. And Morawski steps off the rubber. He cannot afford to make a single mistake now. Luska, you would think, will be given the take sign here, no matter where this pitch is from Hunter Morawski. It's a throw to third instead. And I think they called it a balk. Yep, Morawski balks in the go-ahead run here in the top of the 9th inning. Madonna's up 4-3. Everybody else will advance too. So that means Juan is at third now. Parker's at second. Reed scores to give the Crusaders a 4-3 edge. I don't know if Morawski was just grasping at straws there, hoping he could pick off that runner at third base just to try to avoid the potential walk. But on 3-0 in a crucial moment like this, you'd think his focus would have been at home plate rather than at third base. And his pickoff attempt backfires as he balks in the go-ahead run in the top of the 9th inning. It's the second time today we've seen a run score on a balk. The Saints got one back in the first inning in the same manner. Still 3-0 on Luska. The walk would no longer bring in a run, but it would reload the bases with Jalen Thomas standing on deck. The umpires are talking this one over. They just want to make sure that they've got the call right at such a crucial moment in the game. It It is cold and rainy out right now, so I don't think any of these guys wants to be standing down there inactive any longer than they have to. But because it is the 9th inning, because it's such a close game, and because that call just broke a tie, there are the two umpires going to talk it over to make sure everything is as it should be before we resume this at bat for Frankie Luska. And now they're going over to talk to Madonna's coach, Ted Faulkner, in the third base coach's box. I'm not sure what all the discussion is. Seems like far more discussion than should be necessary for a call like this. But a couple of long conversations, and Faulkner doesn't look happy right now. So there's a chance that this balk might be coming back. I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen that happen before. It's 3-0 on Luska right now when we resume action, no matter where the base runners turn out to be at the time. And the conversation is fairly animated between Faulkner and our home plate umpire. But again, no indication just yet as to what this ruling is going to be. And I really don't think that this benefits anybody. Again, the rain is falling. Not hard at the moment, but it's coming down pretty steadily. Temperature is right around 40 degrees. And a lot of guys are just standing around right now, not moving. It does look like they have overturned the balk call. Now we're going to have a tie score again. Morawski still is in a lot of trouble. Bases are loaded, and it's 3-0 on Luska, but there's no balk. So it's a tie game. 3-3. The go-ahead run has been pulled off the board for the moment. And here we go back to action. Morawski's been warming up during that long umpire's delay. And so he should be crisp, ready to go, as Luska digs back into the left-handed batter's box. 3 balls, no strikes. Morawski is set. Here's the pitch. Ball 4. So much ado about nothing. It is 4-3 after all. Luska draws the go-ahead walk. It's the second walk of the inning. In fact, the second walk in a row issued by Hunter Morawski, and it looks like that'll be the end of his day as Brian Mahalik makes his way out to the mound to grab the ball from his sophomore hurler. Reed scores, Buwan to third base, Parker to second, Luska is at first on the free pass, and Jalen Thomas will come up against the new St. Francis pitcher. I'll take a quick break. 4-3. Madonna leads with the bases loaded at 2 outs in the top of the 9th. Top of the 9th for the first time today. Madonna has the lead. It's 4-3. They're on top of St. Francis, and they've got the bases loaded with 2 outs here, and Jalen Thomas will try to add to this lead. Facing a new pitcher It's a right-hander for the Fighting Saints out of the bullpen. Tyler Dome on for the second time. He allowed a run on a hit and a walk with no strikeouts over an inning and a third in his first appearance against Lyon. And his first pitch goes over the head of Thomas for ball one. Rain has picked up a little bit and might be getting a little bit tougher to get a grip on the baseball right now. 1-0 on Thomas, who's 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts in the game. He has hit the ball hard once, but lined out to center field. Strike called, 1-1. The run scored this inning for Madonna on a bases loaded walk with 2 outs. I think should have been over a little while ago. Joey Piwan hit one that went through the legs of John Peterson. Ball high, 2-1. That was followed by back-to-back walks. That would have been the final out of the inning. It's a hard hit ball, but it was right at Peterson and went through the wickets. And the inning has continued all the way up until now. There's a called strike over the inside corner. The count is 2-2. Angel Sandoval pitched to Gem today for the Fighting Saints, but he will not factor in the decision. He went 7 innings, allowed 2 runs before giving up a leadoff single and departing in the 8th. That run did eventually come into score and was charged to him. Ball off the inside corner. The count goes full on Thomas. One more ball would be the 3rd consecutive walk, and it would bring in a big Madonna insurance run. One more strike, though, would get Dome out of the inning and bring us into the bottom of the 9th, where the Saints would still have a chance to come from behind. Here's the payoff pitch. Ground ball to third base. That's a foul ball. And the count remains 3-2. Jalen Thomas is the 7th batter this inning. At one point, there was a runner at first with 2 outs. Looked like Morawski was in pretty good control, and he was ready to get out of the inning. But again, that misplay by Peterson was followed by back-to-back walks. And now here we are. Another 3-2 pitch coming from Dome to Thomas. Another chopper to third, this one in fair territory. Picked up by Wolf. He steps on third, but it's not in time to get the out. Everybody advances 90 feet. Everybody is safe, and it's 5-3 Crusaders. No chance for Wolf there at third base. I'm not sure if he felt that he didn't have a chance to get the runner at first base. That was probably his only real play at first base. He took it to third instead, and again, it may have been that he just felt like he didn't have an opportunity anywhere else, so he went to third base thinking that was the only place there was even an option, but it didn't look like there was any shot that he would get to third base first, and he didn't. And now a courtesy runner over at second base, or a pinch runner, straight pinch runner rather than the courtesy runner for Frankie Luska. Kyle Aniol comes in, freshman, to run at second base. Still loaded. Aniol's at second. Parker is now at third. It's 5-3 Madonna, and they're trying to break this game open with Alex Nicholson at the bat. Nicholson takes ball 1 low. It's probably Nicholson's fault more than anybody else's that we're still here right now. An RBI triple with 2 outs back in the 8th inning tied the score at 3. At that point, prior to that triple, the Saints were just 4 outs away from a nice easy win, 3-2. There's a tapper back to the mound, picked up by Dome. He shovels it over to the catcher, standing on home plate, and ends the inning. 1-2 on the fielder's choice, but the damage is done for Madonna as they score twice, thanks to a couple of walks and error. It was a tough overall inning for St. Francis. We head to the bottom of the 9th inning. Last chance for the Fighting Saints to come back, trailing 5-3. Bottom of the ninth inning, last chance for St. Francis here. They trail 5-3. They've led pretty much the whole way. But Madonna tied it up with a run in the 8th, 2 in the 9th. And now it's up to John Peterson to try to start a rally in the bottom of the 9th inning. He bunts down the third base line, foul. It's Peterson, Wolf, and Nicholson to face John Buccaneer, trying to finish this thing off. Buccaneer came on in the 8th inning and got the final out. Saints had, in a tie game at the time, go-ahead run in scoring position, but couldn't get him in the 8th inning. Ball high on Peterson, 1-1. Peterson's 0 for 2. He's flown out to center and struck out, but he's also got an RBI on a sacrifice fly back in the 4th inning. He swings and hits this one sky high out to shallow left center field. Coming on is Jalen Thomas, called off by the center fielder, Joey Piwan, who makes the catch for out number 1. Buccaneer is in line for the victory here as he was on the mound to end the 8th inning. And now trying to get all 3 outs in the 9th. It would be his first win. He does have 1 save out of the bullpen for Madonna so far this year as well. Ball 1 downstairs on Jonathan Wolf. Wolf singled back in the 2nd inning. He's 1 for 3. Saints had 3 hits back in the 1st inning. They've had 3 hits total in the 7 1/3 innings since. Ball high, 2-0. Probably going to need a couple here if they want to come out on top. There's a chopper foul to the right side, 2-1. The last time that they scored a run, they didn't need any hits in order to get it. A hit by pitch, a walk, an error, and a sacrifice fly got them a run. But they need at least 2 here in the bottom of the 9th. 1 out, nobody on, the 2-1 to Jonathan Wolf. Taken for a strike, and in fact, that's strike 3. I had the count wrong, so that's a called strike 3. And now there are 2 outs in the 9th inning. And the Saints are down to their final out. And the last hope is Dolan Nicholson. The leadoff batter is 1 for 4 with a run scored, trying to mount a 2-out rally for the Fighting Saints. Ball up and away. 1-0 the count. Buccaneer looking for a 1-2-3 9th inning. Fly ball out to left field. Thomas scoots over, gets there, and makes the catch. And Madonna finishes off a 5-3 victory over St. Francis today. They scored 1 in the 8th, 2 in the 9th to overcome a late deficit and come out with the victory. Again, 5-3 is the final score. And let's go back over the scoring in this one. It started early for St. Francis as they were able to get on the board twice in the bottom of the 1st inning and take a lead that they held most of the contest. Started with a single from Dolan Nicholson, and then Travis Schoonover was hit by a pitch. They would score on a balk and a Kevin Rada single respectively to make it 2-0. That specifically didn't last very long because Madonna got right back on the board with 2 in the top of the 2nd inning. Alex Nicholson walked, Jared Doakey singled, and they scored on a Gordon Ferguson single and a Justin Mattson RBI ground out. So that made it 2-2. Fighting Saints again took the lead in the top of the 4th inning, and that was the run I just mentioned a few moments ago. Kevin Rada was hit by a pitch. Sean Harper walked, and then an error allowed Rada to make it to 3rd base. He came in on a John Peterson sacrifice fly. It was 3-2 Saints. Angel Sandoval was great today, 7 innings pitched. He allowed only 2 runs through those 7 innings, but then in the 8th he gave up a leadoff single to Stephen Parker and departed. Against the bullpen, Madonna was able to get that run in. A 2-out RBI triple from Alex Nicholson made it 3-3, tying up the score. And then in the 9th, Madonna was able to break through with the bases loaded and 2 outs. A walk to Frankie Luska made it 4-3, and then an RBI single for Jalen Thomas made the score final at 5-3. And Madonna takes 2 out of 3 this weekend here at St. Francis. Didn't go the way the Fighting Saints wanted to today. They did get a victory in Game 1 yesterday, but have dropped the final 2 games in this set, and today's a frustrating one because they did have the lead most of the way. But on a day with tough weather where offense was not plentiful. Sometimes it's just the team that makes the fewest mistakes, and over the final several innings, that was the case today as Madonna didn't make any at all, and St. Francis left the door open just a little bit. Madonna was able to creep through with those 3 late runs. With the win, the Crusaders improved their record this year to 8-5. With the loss, the Fighting Saints fall to 1-5. St. Francis will take a trip down south after this in early March and play some games in warmer weather before they return to Joliet on March 13th for a doubleheader against Calumet St. Joseph. That'll be the next home contest, that doubleheader on March 13th for St. Francis. But that's going to do it for today's broadcast. Again, they fall by a final score of 5-3. So until next time, this is Terry Bonadonna signing off for St. Francis. Good night.